And the PM is in Bali for the second day of the G20 summit. In an interview with 5 News, Rishi Sunak says he's approaching the cost of living crisis with fairness and compassion. Well, he gave that interview to our political editor, Andy Bell, and they also talked about the situation in Ukraine after Mr. Sunak confronted the Russian foreign minister. Here's what happened.
The Prime Minister has a seat here at the top table, among the most powerful people in the world. And one of the central issues for them, what to do about the war in Ukraine.
You spoke to us on the plane and said you wanted to get Ukraine into the best possible position for negotiation. That doesn't sound like absolute victory. So do you see in the end this will be a negotiation?
I think everyone recognises that in the end there will have to be a negotiated solution to this conflict. But it's for the Ukrainians. So it won't end with the
Ukrainians declaring, having driven everyone out of their country.
It's for the Ukrainians to decide what makes best sense for them and their people. And we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that what's going on here is Russia is perpetrating an illegal and barbaric war.
Russia is represented here by Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. In his own words, the Prime Minister called him out over the invasion in the closed session. And this picture was released by Downing Street afterwards.
What did you feel in that moment?
Well, I felt a responsibility to make sure that he heard unequivocally the condemnation from not just the United Kingdom, but from allies across the G20.
And did he look angry, looking back at you?
Look, he's going to do what he's going to do. I'm going to not resist ever. I'm going to take every opportunity, in fact, that I can to call out their behaviour and make sure that they're held to account for it and let him know that they're not going to get away with it. And we will continue to support Ukraine to make sure that we can bring about an end to this conflict.
Rishi Sunak has been at the G20 ceremonial dinner. It's a grand affair. But Russia is still at the table, and the other 19 must decide what to do about it.
Well, let's go live again to Andy, who's in Bali. Andy, really strong words from Rishi Sunak there. Do you think there is going to be any more than that, though?
Well, Tessa, we had thought that the communique, the big statement issued at the end of the summit, would be very bland when it came to Russia, because the Russians are here and they could block anything they didn't like, right? Well, I understand from UK diplomatic sources, in fact, the communique is getting stronger. It is going to say, for instance, that most countries in the G20 strongly condemn Russia's invasion of Ukraine. That's because several countries like Mexico, Brazil, South Africa have shifted more towards London and Washington's position. And even countries like China and India are starting to be less supportive of Russia. So it looks like that communique tomorrow could be much stronger. Now, you could say that's just symbolism, but at the end of the day, it is also evidence that President Putin is becoming more and more isolated on the international stage.